feel like I'm here for a story time today.
It really does. This is
It's
like
quite
is like
nice.
our version of CBB story time, except instead of the velvety voice of Tom Hardy, you're left with my dulcet tones of
And
Stephen
other
Cotton
great men.
and other great
Another
men.
great women.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like another great man, like you were calling
Another
me a
great
great man.
people.
Then I was like, oh, thanks, Chloe.
No,
That's-
you are a great
that's
man,
real
but
nice of
also
you.
on CBB's story bedtimes, they have many, many great.
You know, we
people.
recently did an episode that was like bucket list items. I think that would be like a bucket list item for life for me, is getting to read a CBBS bedtime story.
You need to be pretty famous for that.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it. But I feel like I'd really, really like to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
Okay,
be
for
like...
those of you that are just listening, I've basically got my nice Steamboat Willie weighted plush in my arms.
Yeah.
It's the cozy season.
Bit of grounding.
I'm trying to be
heating's
cozy.
on.
Heating is on because it is chilly.
Mm-hmm.
Comfies are on. I've got my fun little socks on that got croissants on them. It's great.
Yes.
Just cozy vibes.
And the day that this basically comes out is basically the day after, pretty much, that we get back from
2
Orlando.
days after we get back.
2 days after we get back from Orlando.
So we haven't been yet, guys.
This is a bit of a weird one. We are trying to get ahead of the game purely because we know that. So basically, we will arrive back some point on Sunday afternoon, knowing that we're going to be super jet lagged. We've got to drive back from Manchester. We'll probably have an extended nap, which will probably turn into a 12-hour sleep.
Yep.
You've got to go to work on the Monday.
And we've also got to
I've got to go to work on the Monday.
And we've also got our wedding menu
and
tasting.
we've got our wedding menu tasting. So realistically, we're just trying to get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Trying to get ahead of the game. How are you, Chloe?
I'm good, like I said, just trying to be cozy.
Yeah.
I went to yoga this evening. That was lovely.
How was it?
Really nice. I am not as stable in my shoulders as I thought I was. I had a lot of pain in my shoulders during it, which if I didn't have that pain, I would have been able to do a lot more.
I do feel like things like yoga and Pilates are really, really good at highlighting where your weaker muscle groups are.
Yeah.
So
But then I was laying down on the ground for the final bit where it's like a reward. You get to basically sleep.
It's like a reward.
It's great. And that was amazing. My chakras were all beautiful.
Nice.
They were aligned. I was seeing the colours. It was great.
Fantastic.
Loved it. How are you, Stephen?
I'm pretty good, actually. I'll be honest. I had loads of fun, actually.
Sorry.
Oh, thanks for interrupting.
No,
How are you? Ah!
I forgot to say something.
You couldn't chime in then.
Sorry. I saw
Go
Katy
on.
Perry yesterday.
Huh?
I went and saw Katy Perry yesterday.
That's not worth interrupting me for.
Whoa. I think some people disagree. It was really good. It was so funny. Like, at one point, she was just meowing on the stage.
Again, I've said it once. I'll say it twice. Not worth worrying about.
No, it was really good. It was a really good show.
Okay.
It was fun. She did some flips in the air. Sophie had a wonderful time, and that's what mattered.
Sure. Should we go back to me?
Sorry, back to you.
What were you asking me?
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Chloe. Thank you so much for asking. Oh no, I was just preparing in case you.
You're
came,
so funny.
In case you came for me
Wow.
again. I had loads of fun actually planning this episode. I think this is my. I don't want to hype it up too much. I think this is my best decades episode that I've ever written.
I mean, you say you don't want to hype it up too much, but that's pretty hyped.
That is me hyping. Now, if anyone's been following along, we've been doing something called Disney Decades, or I've been doing something called Disney Decades. Chloe is my companion through the timeline, to be honest with you.
I just sit here and listen and answer the questions.
Yeah. And speaking of questions, there is no question to ask or answer.
I'm pretty sure, did I not say how excited is Stephen to go to Epic Universe?
Oh yeah, something like that. But
and if you guessed 10,
and
you'd
if you
be
guessed
right.
10, you were off the scale. Probably had a wonderful time, in all honesty. But we're gonna fill you in a little bit on next week's episode, where we're going to talk about how the trip was.
Because right now we haven't been on it, so we can't tell you
right
how it was.
we are still in the miserable realms of the UK. But we've basically done this episode a couple of times. So we've done Disney Decades, we've done the 70s, we've done the 80s. And now we're here for the blockbuster that is the 90s. Okay?
Great decade.
What are your memories of the 90s?
None. I don't
Absolutely
have any.
minimal.
No, I was born in November 97.
And what a good 3 years it was.
Yeah.
And when I say 3 years, I mean
2 and a bit.
2 and 2 months.
Yeah. So I, funny enough, do not remember any of the 90s, but there's a few photos of me.
Yeah.
And there's the
I was
photo
about
of
to
me
say, when did you first go to Disney World?
before 2000.
In 99. Nice.
Maybe 99. No, it must have been 99.
Yeah, had to be.
Must have been. Maybe. ask my mum.
Can you describe this photo to me?
The photo I have, this isn't of me in Disney.
Sure.
This is of me in the year 2000, like New Year's.
No, we're not talking about 2000.
No, but this is me. What's it called when you try?
Oh,
when you,
yeah, when you. I don't know. You're not using words here,
when you bring in the new year.
When you're bringing in the new year.
I had a hat on that said 2000.
Oh, is that the one with all the candles on it?
Or I'm like staring into like the camera, like what's going on?
Yeah.
So I was there for that. I don't remember it, but that's probably it from the 90s that I remember.
Okay. So, if you don't know how these episodes work, I'm basically going to talk through absolutely
how did you find the
everything.
90s?
How did I find the 90s? I loved the 90s. And you know what?
What do you remember
really,
of the 90s?
really... so, for me, the 90s was my VHS era. So, obviously, because I used to have this bright yellow TV that I would have in the corner of my room. I still had, like, a border going around it, which was Winnie the Pooh. This was still me being maybe, like, 5 or 6. And I literally had like a little stack of VHS sort of next to it. Again, the 90s was a big time for me because it was the first time that I ever went to the cinema.
First time I was born.
First time that I actually ever went to the cinema
Toy Story.
No. It was The Little Mermaid on a re-release, because I know that Little Mermaid originally came out in 1989, but they basically did a theatrical re-release at my local cinema. I think it was in about 98. And went to go watch that. So I feel
what was
like
the one you cried
it was
at?
So formative.
And
Barney.
Was it? No.
No.
And your nan was like...
Okay, that's a thing to admit. There was a Barney film that came out around the same time, and I cried at it. Lilo and Stitch, I cried at.
Was that the one where your nan was like, "Are you okay?" And you went, "I've got some popcorn
I was like,
in my eye."
I just got some sweet popcorn in my eye, and I'm just crying at them at the end of Lilo and Stitch. That was not in the 90s. I can happily say that was in the early 2000s.
Or we can revisit that.
So thank you so much. But again, I'm going to kind of talk you through everything that happened in the 90s, and I think
on the Disney side. Not everything that happened.
No, not everything that happened in the 90s. Although I will say my notes here are 9 pages long. I've really gone to town on this one more than I've ever been. But again,
if you want a road trip, good for you.
You know me. I'm concise. I'm clear. I've got some games along the way. I've got fun facts. I've got absolutely everything that you need. I personally believe that the 90s were probably the most formative years for Disney as a sort of expanding media. In terms of the parks, in terms of everything that was happening with expansion. That's obviously what I've kind of predominantly focused on because we're a theme park podcast. But again, my big thing is that I feel like this was what we could classify as a renaissance of Disney films. You think about it, like the 80s, they had a couple of hits. Like there were kind of smatterings, I suppose, of sort of good films coming out. But the 90s was just hit after hit after hit after hit. So... for those of you that are not already familiar with the sort of who was in charge at that time, so it was Michael Eisner, or what's his middle name, Chloe?
The man.
Michael The Man Eisner. Now, at the start of this decade,
you can't say his name without doing the...
Michael.
No. Uro Disney.
Chloe, there is a moment where I can use
fantastic.
Uro,
good.
And it's already in place. So one of the things that was happening, so at the start of this decade, actually, Michael Eisner stood up and basically promised that Disney World was going to be open for a brand new generation. And on the whole, he pretty much delivered that. So basically, he had promised that we were going to be entering something that he classified as the Disney decade. And basically, what he did is, at the start of that decade, he revealed over a dozen planned projects. Now, some of these projects did come to life, some of them not so much. So here's a couple of things that were kind of what-ifs. Like, you know when they do like D23 and they kind of announce loads of projects and it might not, like all of them might not make it to fruition, basically. What we saw is Westcott, which never made it. There was going to be a second-style, Epcot-style theme park in California. Never made it.
Second-style, Epcot-style.
Loads of style for Epcot. And then there was also going to be the Beastly Kingdom aspect of Animal Kingdom, which never actually made it to fruition. So the 90s, in all honesty, were about expansion, imagination, and connection. They were They were trying to blend the films and parks and technology into something that was bigger than they'd ever experienced before. Disney World was now becoming this kind of full-scale vacation destination, and we saw that from rapid expansion of all of the hotels. They opened more hotels in the 90s than they ever have. Fantastic. It was crazy.
Vacation destination. That's a great
It was
thing
a vacation destination.
Just everyone say that. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Vacation destination. Ooh, yeah.
Because if the 70s were all about the dreaming, the 80s were about kind of building and setting that up, and then the 90s were all about believing that, nothing could stop us now. So at the start of 1990, so this was in January of 1990, Michael Eisner basically took to the stage and defined what the Disney decade was going to be. And he basically promised massive growth across the parks, new attractions, new resorts, more theme parks, expanding on a global level. And it was one of the kind of boldest commitments that any Disney CEO has basically ever made. And let's face it, he pretty much delivered. So they were planning, and these were the sort of major things that he announced at the start of that, the opening of Splash Mountain at Magic Kingdom. Iconic.
Thumbs up from me.
A whole new pavilion for Epcot. A brand new film-themed theme park, so more expansion happening with MGM Studios, which opened in 89. Another part was obviously on the drawing board at the opening of Animal Kingdom. And also, Eisner's right-hand man, Frank Wells, was coming off a decade of success, and the films were doing better than they ever have, with a combination of merchandise alongside it.
Double thumbs up from me, Michael Eisner.
I think that's one of the things that I note probably most, is that I felt like Disney was just everywhere in the 90s. Like, you think about it, when a film came out,
and so can you blame me for being a Disney person, you know? Like, literally,
you were alive for 2 years for the 90s.
Exactly. I was born into it, you know? Like, all that's being put in my face the entire time is Disney. No wonder I'm here now. But I think
it was such a big expansion of, like, when a film would come out, you'd suddenly get the VHSs, you'd get all the plushes, you'd get every form, like, you'd quite often...
for princesses.
I need to kind of double check this, because I might be completely wrong, but one of my kind of core memories is like going to see a Disney film and then knowing that the next week after swimming, when I'd go and get a McDonald's, and the Happy Meal would always have a Disney toy, and I'd have so many assorted sort of Disney toys. So I think the collaborations were pretty much off the scale when it came to that. So when the Disney decade was first teased, Disney even released a promotional booklet full of concept art for it. So this was showcasing all of their never-before-seen artwork and attractions. It was like a Mickey's Movie Land, and they basically outlined exactly what was going to go in Beastly Kingdom. Mickey's Movie Land and Beastly Kingdom obviously never came into full fruition, but actually a lot of the original design work for Beastly Kingdom was actually partially incorporated in Avatar.
It sounds like you're saying Beasley is in like Pam Beasley.
Beast.
Like Pam Beasley Land, where she just does loads of artwork.
So by the time that we got to 1990, Magic Kingdom was actually already turning 20 years old. And Disney basically wanted to freshen things up as much as possible, which is why we saw a massive wave of improvements and kind of redesigns without them not losing that Disney charm. And the headliner was in 1992, where they opened Splash Mountain. What are some of your memories of Splash Mountain, Chloe?
I have great memories of Splash Mountain.
Me too.
I really liked the music.
Absolutely.
And I liked the story where it wasn't necessarily like scary when you're with the bees before you go up the hill, but when you start going up and you've got the vultures.
The vultures looking over you.
That was a little bit scary, but not too scary. But then it's always like,
yeah, and I still miss the fact that it felt so much longer than what Tiana's Bayou Adventure is. I feel like they've sped it up a little bit.
I just like the aspect of the storyline more.
Did you ever watch
No.
Song of the South?
No.
I watched it once, and I can kind of vaguely remember it. But again, being young and naive, I had no idea, why it would eventually be banned or anything like that. But basically, this was an engineering marvel. Obviously, it was a log flume. It included audio animatronics, music, storytelling, and a 52-foot drop that, let's face it, we absolutely loved it. Mm-hmm. But did you know that with Splash Mountain, they actually reused dozens of animatronics from a retired Disneyland show called America Sings?
Oh.
Which is so when you get the sort of riverboat at the end, loads of those were the recycled characters that they basically got out. And then in 1996, the park got a whimsical new era where they opened Mickey's Toontown Fair. Do you remember that? Do you remember
do.
Mickey's Toontown?
I remember going to Mickey's house and Minnie's
exactly,
house.
Where guests got the opportunity to step inside of Mickey and Minnie's house. And it was originally built as Mickey's birthday land for Mickey's 60th birthday in 1988. And it proved so popular that it evolved into a permanent land.
And do you know what? I think it should still be there.
It was really, really fun, actually.
Yeah.
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 But also, did you know that Mickey's house was filled with loads of fun Easter eggs? So it had a refrigerator stocked with cheese.
Yes.
And only cheese. It had Pluto's doghouse, which had his bone collection. And also, do you know what was hidden in Minnie's house?
Lots of bows. Lots of polka dots.
There were lots of bows and polka dots. But there was also a little nod to Walt Disney himself. There was a framed photo of Mickey shaking hands with Walt Mouse. Which is just absolutely adorable.
With Walt Mouse?
Yeah.
Like Walt as a mouse?
Yeah. Walt Disney as a mouse.
That's great.
I'll have to try and dig out the photo because that sounds that sounds like
wonderful. You own it. I've got to try and find it. It's in the loft somewhere. I'll dig out the photo.
Dig out the archives. And then in 1996, still sticking with Magic Kingdom celebrated its 25th anniversary. And what did they do for the 25th anniversary?
Was that the cake?
That was the cake. So Cinderella's castle transformed into a giant pink birthday cake, complete with frosting, candy canes, and bright icing. I'll be honest, the more I look back at it, the more I think that is one that we should leave in the past, because that was absolutely awful, in all honesty. And then heading over to Epcot, the 90s brought new energy in ways that we hadn't seen before.
It
was kind of expanding.
Chloe Nixon. I'm the energy it brought.
It was expanding beyond the original sort of educational fare that it was originally introduced to be. So in 1994, Disney introduced Innoventions, which replaced...
I loved Innoventions.
Which replaced Communicore. What was Innoventions? Because I never got to experience it.
So they had like loads of different
You're quite
science.
useful for this episode, so thank you.
Lots of like science experimenty things. So there was one place that you could create your own roller coaster, then ride it.
Oh, nice.
You could do your Segway carts.
Yeah,
that's what they're called, isn't it?
I have no idea what you're describing.
There was a really good one about like money and life, and then you've got these like this piggy bank, and then you fill it up with money by doing different things. But then in the house, you would walk through this house, and you don't have to like fix a window. You've got to use some of your money towards that. Then also something happened, you've got to pay your bills. So that was quite clever as well.
Okay,
it's all about learning.
Nice. Yeah, no, very, very educational. But again, it replaced Communicore, which was there before. It's quite nice that we've kind of had a full circle moment where Communicore Hall is now sort of in that place. But yeah, it showcased loads of interactive new technologies, from home computers to virtual reality. And then in that same year, we also had Honey, I Shrunk the Audience open in the old Journey into Imagination Theatre, which was actually one of the first uses of 3D effects, moving seats. And it also had the first ever introduction of a sneezing character on an audience. Did you know that? Yeah, Dr. Nigel Channing. Was the first one to sneeze on an audience.
And you got splashed with the water.
What else are you going to get splashed with?
No, I'm just saying. It wasn't just like sneezing on the screen. It was the water. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
that's a really fun fact.
No, I know.
That would have been a good one to do as a question, but
I've tried to include loads in here, to be honest. But Disney were also laying groundwork for what was going to be the most thrilling attraction at the time, which was going to be Test Track, which began to replace the aging World of Motion ride around the mid-90s. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I've got some stuff on it later. But one of the things that I will tell you is that during early testing, the car couldn't actually make it out up the outdoor speed loop without stalling. They had to redesign pretty much the whole vehicle to make sure that it didn't stall. So if we're kind of just talking about Magic Kingdom and Epcot, lots of refreshes, some brand new rides. It was wonderful. And then we move over to MGM Studios and what was sort of happening around that, because obviously that opened in 1989 and was deemed as, at first, it was supposed to be like this little boutique park with only a few attractions and mainly centered around movie making, which is why, as the 1990s rolled in, they wanted to expand it and make it something much bigger. So in the early 1990s, what we saw was a behind-the-scenes theme sort of crop up around it. So you had the backlot tour. Yeah, so we had the backlot tour was the centerpiece, which was a 30-minute tram ride through props, sound stages, and sets. And guests could basically watch real productions in action. So you basically had the new Mickey Mouse Clubhouse was actually being filmed there with Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, and Christina Aguilera.
That's pretty cool.
Okay. And that soundstage was actually being used all the way up until the 2000s, where they actually filmed Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yeah.
For a little bit.
You could take part.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
They also did
they had Who Wants to Be a Millionaire play it there.
And then they also did like an American Pop Idol thing that you could vote on your chairs for who you want to win, and then they got to be in the parade.
Exactly. But they also started to shift away from the movie making because they realised, like, when it stopped being becoming so much of a working studio, they needed more attractions, which is why on July 22nd of 1994, we got our favourite attraction at Hollywood Studios, the Twilight Zone, Tower of Terror, which was not just a drop tower. I mean, I could go on and on about this attraction. If you really do want to find out more about the Tower of Terror, what I would do is I'd go and listen to our episode where we do a complete and utter deep dive on the thing.
And there's also a behind the attraction for it, isn't there?
And there's a behind the attraction for it. There is so much information out there. Go and delve into that because it is incredible. But also, I mean, we've spoken about this before in terms of a fun fact. Because they knew how tall it was going to be and it was going to interrupt the Epcot skyline, they painted it the same colour as the Morocco Pavilion, which was lovely. And then we also turned our attention to the opening of 1999's attraction, Rock and Roller Coaster, featuring Aerosmith.
Fantastic.
Where you would basically step into a recording studio and then be taken on a whistle-stop 60-mile-an-hour tour of LA to get you to an Aerosmith concert. And actually, did you know that with Rock and Roller Coaster, it was the first Disney ride to feature an onboard soundtrack synchronized to the ride movements?
I did not know that.
There you go. Okay.
That's very interesting.
And then sticking with Hollywood Studios, or MGM Studios, in 1991, the Beauty and the Beast live on stage opened. Beauty and the Beast live on stage opened on the same day that the movie debuted.
I mean, I think that's a bit silly, actually,
why?
If I'm honest. Because why? Because I would give the film a bit of time to come out so the film gets some hype.
Yeah, but this also paved the way for them actually doing a lot more live shows. So in the end, they ended up having a Hunchback of Notre Dame, Aladdin, Pocahontas, all with full-scale sets, live singers, and Broadway-level performances, which is what we come to know and love at Hollywood Studios now. And then you also had something. Did you ever see? I don't think you would have ever seen this, or maybe you would have.
Try me.
Aladdin's Royal Caravan Parade. We've spoken about it before.
We've spoken about it.
Started in 1992. I don't know when it actually stopped, but yeah.
I might have seen it, but not remembering it.
Okay. Then we get to my heart, my soul. It's Animal Kingdom. Which I love more than anything in this world. So you kind of had as a park.
You didn't say that. You went, I love more than anything in this world.
As a park, more than anything in this world.
More than any other parks in this world.
More than any other parks in this world.
Thank you.
Whereas Chloe, I love more than anyone or anything in this world.
I hope your parents aren't listening to this.
Go. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Okay, but Disney's creative team basically had something entirely new in mind where they wanted to have guests experience the natural world. They'd focus so much on technology and these sort of like fantasy worlds with like obviously the movies and the glitz and the glam. So they decided to open Animal Kingdom, which opened on Earth Day, which is April 22nd, 1998. And it was the brainchild of Joe Rohde, who you actually bumped into at Three Bridges.
That was a great moment.
Very, very strange.
Great, though.
Strange.
Like, I remember seeing him be like, I'm going to have to go and shake his hand. I have to do it. And I did, and I pretended to go to the toilet, so as if I was on the way to the toilet.
Yeah.
But really, I was just going past him to say hello.
But also, if you see anything on especially on the Imagineering story with Joe Rohde and his team spent years traveling through Africa and Asia, basically picking up items, because basically most of Animal Kingdom is pretty much authentic to the locations that they're kind of based on, from environments to architecture and the wildlife as well. The main thing was that they didn't want it to be like a zoo, but a living storybook. And actually, the park's tagline when it opened was Natazu. Natazu, which is a playful way to remind guests that this is not a zoo, it is something entirely new. Now, Animal Kingdom spans over 500 acres and is roughly 5 times the size of Magic Kingdom. So it was a huge chunk of land, and most of that is actually dedicated to the savannah that you can experience on Kilimanjaro safaris.
Great safari. I highly recommend.
At the heart, I'm going to talk about it in a second. So at the heart of the park, we've got the Tree of Life, which is 140 foot tall. It's an artificial baobab tree.
Do you know how long the branches span, though? Do you know how far the branches span?
No, why?
Because I do.
Go on.
160 feet.
Well, there you go. Sometimes your reach is bigger than your height.
Yep.
In all honesty. And it features 300 animal designs and is obviously soon to feature Zootopia in the middle of it. And actually, the trunk itself is actually built from an old rig platform because they needed basically something as a base that was going to be strong enough to withstand hurricane force winds. But also, Animal Kingdom's savannah hosts over 30 species. And they're all carefully trained to appear at specific times of the day to balance the ecosystem and the overall guest experience.
Very
so
clever.
Disney even built in hidden feeding stations behind the rocks to encourage animals to hang out in certain photo op spots and opportunities.
Smart.
So obviously the main thing with this is that instead of animatronics, which they were starting to develop, and I think they're on phase 2 at that point, they wanted this to be the most authentic experience they possibly could.
That would work with you, actually.
What would?
If I want to take a photo of you somewhere, I
You
just
want
put
phase
like a
2 of me?
snack there.
That's rude.
Then I think you would go to the snack. Do you know what? I reckon that would happen.
Never.
No, don't say never. I think that would work. I think I could do it without even noticing.
Never. I mean, yeah, I guess it probably worked. Whatever. Grumble. But the ride was also so immersive that guests truly believed that they were on an African savannah. And originally the story was a little bit darker, where it featured you trying to stop poachers, which we've spoken about before,
Yes.
from killing a mother elephant named Big Red.
Yeah, that's not cool, Disney.
Yeah.
Not
But
cool.
did you also know that Disney's animal care team features over 400 specialists, veterinarians and zookeepers, making Animal Kingdom one of the largest zoological operations in the world?
Wow.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
Crazy. But obviously when Joe Rohde first pitched the idea for Animal Kingdom, it was designed to cover 3 bases. Okay? The first being real animals, which they obviously do on the safari. Extinct animals, like dinosaur.
I was about to say, they can't display them in the safari then.
No, of course not. But also mythical animals. So the idea that the third land was going to be called Beastly Kingdom, which is what I talked about at the start of this episode, and it was going to be the park's crown jewel. And guests would have explored a medieval-style village that was going to be split into 2. So one side was going to be good creatures, and the other side was going to be darker beasts, and there was going to be a roller coaster called Dragon Tower, where you'd race through a castle guarded by a fire-breathing dragon, and a boat ride through a land of unicorns and fairies.
But Legoland got there first.
I know, absolutely. But also, why was this stopped? Because of budget cuts. Basically, after the financial constraints of...
Because Disney have got no money, Disneyland Paris.
Disney.
But this thing is, like, Disney, I get, like, there must be times where it is like financially difficult, but you can't tell me he's got no money.
No, I know.
Every time I meet Mickey Mouse and he's like, I've got no money. I'm
money. He's like,
Mickey,
you've got loads.
You've got so much money because we give you our money, so we know how much you give from us alone.
Exactly. You can't keep hiking ticket prices and then be like, I've got no money left.
I've got no money.
I've got nothing left.
Can't do anything.
But yeah, reading up on all this concept stuff, I was like, this sounds incredible. Because I'd known of Beastly Kingdom, but I didn't know the sort of level of detail that was going into the rides. But yeah, due to budget cuts and the financial strain of Euro Disney in 1992, they basically shelved the entire thing. But all of that, they wanted to keep with. They decided to use that particular area for the conservation area, which is where it featured Camp Mickey and Minnie, and then later became Pandora: The World of Avatar in 2017.
Fantastic.
But you can still spot it. Where can you still spot the nod to Beastly Kingdom?
Oh, in the Animal Kingdom sign.
Yeah,
it's got the dragon.
So it's got the dragon in the sign as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a little trivia for you. It's just a single question to start you off. To be honest, what was the very first animal that that Disney bought for Animal Kingdom? What type of animal was it?
Rhino.
No, it was a giraffe named Miles, who arrived in August of 1996, almost 2 years before the opening day.
Oh, got settled in.
Exactly. Right. Are you ready for the quickest whistle-stop tour?
Okay, I thought it was going to be a quiz. I was like,
No. Oh, I've got a quiz coming up. There is a quiz coming up. But this one's actually quite a nice quiz. Because it's not a sort of like guess things. It's I'm genuinely testing your Disney knowledge.
Oh, I thought you were about like I'm testing on what you've actually been listening to.
No. God, yeah, this one's for all of you guys. You gotta make sure. No, I'm gonna do a whistle stop tour of resort expansion because there was a lot of stuff. Basically, Disney in the 90s was set to become a full-scale vacation kingdom. So they basically wanted to expand the resorts on a scale like no other. They wanted to make sure that they were keeping this immersive storytelling and this immersive theming with the hotels themselves. So one of the first ones that opened was Wilderness Lodge in 1994, which is obviously inspired by the Grand National Park lodges of the early 20th century. The idea with Wilderness Lodge is that guests are staying in a lodge built by an early American explorer, complete with springs bubbling up inside the lobby that flowed outside into the waterfall and eventually into Bay Lake. And also, did you know that the main lobby isn't just decorative? It's actually modelled after the Grand Canyon's rock layers. Yeah, which I thought was really, really cool. And then 2 years later, we got the expansion on the Epcot side, where we had the introduction of Disney's Boardwalk Inn and Villas. God, I love that place. Wonderful, wonderful thing. And this captured the charm of a 1930s Atlantic seaside boardwalk, complete with carnival games, street performers, and even an old-fashioned dance hall that is still there today. But this is a weird fun fact for you. So the wooden planks on the boardwalk stretch nearly a quarter of a mile, and every year Disney use 1,000 gallons of sealant to maintain the authentic boardwalk creek. What a strange little fact, right? I know.
They make the creek.
Yeah, they basically, they to a certain extent, they manufacture the creek. So it's not 100% authentic, because obviously you get that creek from years and years and years of wear, not, 1990s wear, to be honest with you.
That's crazy.
And then over the Crescent Lake, Disney's Yacht and Beach Club opened in 1990. They were booming and crazy. You also had French Quarter opened in 1991. And then in 1992, did you know that Riverside was not always called Riverside?
Yes.
It was called Dixie Landings, and then eventually changed its name to Riverside.
Riverside is better.
Yeah, Riverside. Riverside. I don't know why I did that, sorry. I think it's because in my head I was going like, East Side is the best, West Side is the best, Riverside is the best. I just went back to Ali G, so I do apologise for all of that. And then, honestly, when we talk about expansion, this is crazy. So in 1994, All-Star Sports and all the All-Stars kind of followed later in that decade. But when Disney opened the All-Star set of resorts, they added over 5,000 new hotel rooms to Walt Disney World, making it one of the largest single-site resort complexes in the entire world. And by the end of the 90s decade, Walt Disney World had doubled the number of hotel rooms and added a new theme park and continued to update its classics.
You can say what you will about Eisner. Say what you will, but you know what? He made big moves.
Honestly, I don't think the parks would be anywhere near what they are now if he hadn't paved the way. Like, it is ridiculous.
He is the man.
He is the man from De Eisner. Are you ready for a quiz, Chloe?
Oh,
because we're going to talk about probably the absolute pinnacle of what the 90s were, which was outstanding films. Okay. Across the 90s. Now, this is a particular quiz where I have taken quotes and I've taken lyrics from 90s Disney films, and I want you to try and tell me who said it or what film it's from.
Okay, double points if I get both.
Okay. There are 10 questions. Everyone at home, feel free to play along.
Okay.
Some of these are much easier than others. I will put it that way.
I hate being put on the spot. Right.
I know, I'm so sorry. Right, so the first one.
Okay.
I am not a prize to be won.
Oh, that is that's I'm not a prize to... It's not Belle. No, it's not Belle.
It is a princess.
It's a princess though.
Mm-hmm.
Mulan. No. It's annoying because I can hear them saying it in my head. I'm not a prize to be won. Oh, Jasmine. Sorry, it's Jasmine.
Yeah.
And she says it. Yes, when she's being married. I'm so sorry.
Well done. You got there in the end. Here's a nice one for you because I need to be kind here and there. Don't be such a guppy.
Ariel says it's Flounder in The Little Mermaid.
Okay. What about this one? I'm a damsel. I'm in distress.
Meg Hercules.
I can handle this.
Meg Hercules.
Have a nice day.
I got that on the Disney Cruise Line quiz.
Okay, I'm going to give you part of this. What I'd give, what I'd dare.
Quasimodo and Hunchback.
Well done. She's good today. Okay.
Thank you.
Right. I'm only brave when I have to be. Being brave doesn't mean you go looking for trouble.
Oh. That is Is it Mufasa in
You
The
are
Lion King?
smashing this.
Thank you.
Absolutely smashing this. Well done.
Says it to
Okay.
Simba.
Right, okay. I'm going to keep it going. Right, I'm in the mood to help you, dude.
I'm in the mood to help you, dude. This is Genie from Aladdin.
It is. Well
like
done.
Me.
Okay, what about this? And it hurt that my friends never stood downwind.
Pumbaa in The Lion King.
Very good. Don't underestimate the importance of body language.
Ursula in Little Mermaid.
Oh, she's quick today.
Thank you.
I've literally only included this quote because I really wanted to say it.
Okay.
Okay. And I kind of want to say it in the sassiest way that I can. Honey, you mean Hercules.
That's from the Muses.
It is the Muses. And then the final one, there's only she who's as beautiful as me.
Gaston.
There you go.
Beauty and the Beast.
You absolutely smashed that.
Thank you.
Well done. I wish I'd put some more difficult ones in there for you.
The first one threw me because I was getting into the zone, you know. I was panicking.
Yeah, I tried to vary it as much as possible from lyrics and then also other things as well. But yeah, so if you ask any Disney fan, I think most of them are going to say that the 90s were absolute peak cinema. Do you have a favourite film from the 90s, Kai?
From the 90s?
Yeah.
Ooh, I think it might be Hunchback.
Yeah?
That is from the 90s, I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
You put a quote in there.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, I thoroughly love The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think of the 90s, I really, really struggled to pick a favourite. I think mine is probably between Hercules or The Lion King. Like, if I go back to like my VHS tapes, those are the ones that were watched time and time again. Like, you know when you've rewatched a tape so many times that you could literally just be like, right, I'm going to fast forward it to this song, and you can pretty much do it within like 10 seconds. That's where I was with a lot of these by the time that we got to maybe the 10th watch. But again, so we were having a renaissance. This was pretty much off the back of the success of The Little Mermaid. So we had Beauty and the Beast, we had Aladdin, we had The Lion King, we had Mulan, we had Hercules, we had Hunchback of Notre Dame, all within a single decade. And actually, all of that success actually did also feed into the park. So with The Little Mermaid success in 1989, the parks weren't wasting any time in bringing all these characters to life in as quickly as they could. So in 1991, Magic Kingdom debuted SpectroMagic, which replaced the Main Street Electrical Parade.
Beautiful parade.
Wonderful parade. And then SpectroMagic used over 1 million individual lights, and the soundtrack was recorded by a 47-piece orchestra, making it one of the most elaborate nighttime shows that Disney had ever created at the time. And then you also had Beauty and the Beast, which premiered in 1991, which became the first ever animated film to be nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. Which I think
a lot of Oscars.
Incredible. Which, and Disney obviously quickly jumped on that to turn it into a live experience in the parks, and then obviously put it on Broadway as well. Like, what you also forget is that, like, a lot of the Broadway shows that we have Disney-wise came from the 90s as well. And it was also one of the longest... it is the longest running stage show in Disney.
Yeah. Wow.
Crazy, right?
That is crazy.
I've already spoken about the 1992 introduction of Genie and Jasmine and Aladdin's Royal Caravan. But then, did you know that actually in those floats they had spitting camels, which were later repurposed?
That was a question.
Which was one of the questions that we've also done. And then there was also a full-blown Legend of the Lion King stage show in Magic Kingdom, which used huge elaborate puppets. And then over in the soon-to-be-opened Animal Kingdom, the film became a massive influence and then obviously became Festival of the Lion King.
Yes.
Not in the 90s, but...
Fourth.
But yeah. But also, did you know this? So in Lion King's opening weekend, Disney handed out over 1 million Circle of Life buttons to Walt Disney World park guests.
As they should.
1 million buttons.
They should do that
they should do that for everything.
Do that more.
And then in 1995, things started to change a little bit. The 2D animation was obviously still an absolute roaring success, but they recognised that something revolutionary was happening, and that was Toy Story, done by Pixar, which was the first full-length computer-animated film. And they immediately recognised its potential, and Woody and Buzz basically became icons of the park overnight, and they started appearing in parades, meet and greets. So originally, Woody and Buzz's outfits made it really, really difficult for them to get around the parks, and there were lots and lots of problems of people working with them, and causing lots of calamity. But then, obviously, off the back of that, they decided to open Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, which is they've actually this week just released all of the updated vehicles because they're now in place. It looks absolutely fantastic. And then we also, by the end of the decade, we also kept rolling with Hercules and Mulan, who both had their own parades and park tie-ins. And the Hercules Zero to Hero parade, which ran in MGM Studios in 1997, featured huge floats and a live gospel choir.
Oh, bring it back.
And then Mulan debuted in 1998. And Epcot's China Pavilion hosted special cultural exhibits and character meet and greets. But they also, for the premiere, got a 150-foot Chinese dragon in Hollywood studios as well.
Wow.
Crazy.
Love it.
So as you can kind of tell, we're getting towards the end of this decade, and I am ridiculously out of breath. But essentially, everything that Michael Eisner had outlined at the start of this decade pretty much came to fruition. They had modernized a lot of the parks. They had expanded in ways that they never thought was possible. You had these incredible films being released, and also, you being able to, kind of live, breathe, and experience the whole thing with, I think this was the first time that we were seeing a very, very quick translation from, I've just seen, this character on the screen, and now I can see their story live, and I can see them in the parks and everything like that. But one thing that I have kind of missed out at this point was the fact that Test Track was introduced in 1999, and it was one of the longest and most complex ride developments in Disney history. And the concept of the ride was that guests were going to be crash test dummies in a General Motors proving ground, which, I don't know, would that pass now?
I think it would.
As an idea. But again, Test Track was one of the fastest rides that Disney had ever built, reaching speeds of 65 miles an hour. And then Epcot also became the heart of as we're kind of moving towards the end of the millennium, it became the heart of Disney's Millennium Celebration, which ran from 1999 to 2001. And with that particular celebration, it introduced some of the most memorable park features over at Epcot, including the Millennium Village, which was a global showcase of technology. And we also got the nighttime spectacular Illuminations reflections of...
Oh, what a beautiful piece of music. I missed that show. Oh.
And that premiered on October 1st, 1999, and which was exactly 18 years after Epcot had first opened, and went on to run for nearly 20 years.
When did it stop?
When did it stop? I think it stopped in 2018.
Yeah, because I remember getting into the Disney program thinking, yes, I can see Illuminations every night. And then it changed.
Yeah.
I was like, I've waited my life to see that.
Now, the show's global centerpiece featured over 15,000 LED lights, which was cutting edge at the time, and it weighed 350,000 pounds.
Jeez.
But also, away from the parks, we also had Downtown Disney, which was expanding in ways that we'd never seen before.
Island?
Exactly. So we had a new entertainment district which combined shopping, dining, and nightlife, and for a while included the incredibly popular Pleasure Island.
Yes.
Which technically all of this stuff kind of opened in 1989 and spilled into the decade, and was full of themed nightclubs. So you had the Adventurers Club, Comedy Warehouse, and Mannequin's
I always
Dance
wanted to go
Palace.
there, but they were all like 18 plus, so I couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm
really glad that you weren't in them.
Yeah, true, actually.
Yeah. And each night, believe it or not, this is what I found really, really interesting. And all of those nightclubs were connected by nightly fireworks.
I'm pretty sure there was one of the clubs that did a countdown every night.
That's what I was about to say.
I don't know what it was. But...
So each night, the entire island would stop and do a full midnight countdown every single night. Weird.
That is a bit strange.
Little bit weird, but this essentially paved the way for the 2000s, where things basically got a little bit more turbulent. And there was a little bit more transformation happening, and not always for the best. But that is
well
done, Stephen.
That was a lot of information.
Hopefully you found out something new and exciting, and that was in some way nostalgic to you.
That was amazing.
But I need to refresh my
drink.
palate.
Absolutely,
or something like that.
Yeah. Well, should I ask next week's question?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
Chloe.
Stephen came at us with lots of Animal Kingdom facts and figures there, and I got a bit worried because my question is a fact about Animal Kingdom. So I thought you were going to tell the people.
Oh, no.
My question.
Thank goodness.
I would like to know, how many cars can you fit into the car park of Animal Kingdom?
Okay, that is a question
it's
that I can't
round number,
answer.
If that helps.
Okay.
You can take a guess in a minute, Stephen.
Okay. I probably will, but to be fair, we're going to go and actually... It's going to be a little bit weird because obviously this is coming out after the holiday. I need to go pack and finalise the last little bits.
Me too.
I need to pack my little handheld... Not handheld. Carry on. Can you... It's quite late.
I'm your handheld.
It's quite late. I need to make sure that I'm packed and ready. Otherwise, I don't think I'm going to make it to the airport.
But we will see you next week, guys.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
We can cry when it's over.